Hey everyone, so I don't think it is any secret that I am really into cameras. I collect old film cameras, I do photography and videography. I have like a list of my dream cameras and lenses that I want to buy someday in the future, like when I have enough money. And over the years, I've found a few different ways to make money off of that interest. But today I will be showing you, by and away, my favorite method of doing so. So I'm also a really big fan of thrifting. So like a perfect union is buying cameras at thrift stores and then selling them online. This is something that I started doing when I was maybe 16 or 17 or so. It's definitely never been like a main income for me just because I haven't done it in a large enough scale to really make the profit that I would need to, you know, make it like a main thing. But it has been something I've really enjoyed over the years. And it gives me an excuse to buy film cameras at the thrift store. So, you know, that's chill. What's really nice about a lot of thrift stores is that they don't realize what film cameras have value. So they see the bigger it is, the more expensive it should be. Whereas in reality, that's actually not the case. If you have, you know, this is kind of a small camera. I'm pretty sure I bought it for maybe $10, $15, and it's worth a lot more than that online. I found in a lot of cases, I can make, you know, 3 to 4 times as much as I bought the camera for, sometimes even more, if I get lucky, which I'm actually gonna talk about a camera I just bought that's worth like almost 10 times what I bought it for. It's just fun to be able to learn about like old cameras like this and get to use them a little bit. And I don't always sell them if they're like really cool and not worth a ton. I do hold on to them sometimes because I just like the way they look and they're fun to use. So when I see a camera like this at the thrift store, I first, you know, just look at the exterior. Like how does it look? Is it maybe dented up? Is it really dirty, or does it got kind of grime on it? And in this case, obviously you can see this is a pretty clean camera. It's definitely not, you know, it's got a lot of signs of use. You can see the paint here is kind of rubbed off, which is actually can be a valuable thing in some of these old cameras. People really like this and like to see that brass, I think it is, that's kind of coming through the paint. You can see it's a little bit dented up here at the bottom. We've got some dents. They're not the worst I've seen, but they're also not wonderful. So that might be something to consider. Most film cameras at thrift stores do have the lenses on them, like attached. And what you actually generally want to do is you want to kind of evaluate them separately, because you can sell them separately and make more of a profit that way. So, you know, you'll want to look and see if there's like any dirt, if the viewfinder looks fine. Obviously you look through it and see how it kind of looks on the inside. Make sure all the knobs and the dials work. Make sure everything seems to function properly. So as you can see, everything on this camera works, which is really important. And then what you'll take a look at is you'll actually open the camera up and look at the inside and see how things look. This is pretty important. A lot of cameras kind of have some decay on the inside. This camera is really, really nice on the inside. It looks like it's been taken pretty good care of. Sometimes you'll see mold in here, which is normally a no-go. Again, you check the operation, make sure everything works. And as you can see here, it all does. Functions as it's supposed to. So the camera itself is in, you know, pretty good shape. It is definitely very usable and very sellable. This lens is probably in even better shape. Again, you should test and see if everything works. So with old Canon lenses, a lot of them, the aperture doesn't actually work unless you have it on the camera, which I'll just go ahead and do that. But you'll want to make sure that the iris works and that it functions and there's no like oil on the blades or anything like that. Obviously that it focuses and kind of that function works. And then one final thing you'll actually want to do is you'll look through the lens and see if there's any dust or dirt. You can see here there's definitely some dust on the inside of the lens. And now this actually, you'd think that was a lot. This isn't really bad, as long as it's just not super hazy and there's no kind of visible fungus. Fungus is especially important to look for. It'll kind of be like little spider webs over the lens. But this is really not bad for a lens this old. And then after checking it, making sure everything works, then you'll want to go on to eBay and actually see what it's selling for. What you can actually do that makes it a lot easier is you can make it things that have already been sold, so you can actually see what they're selling for and not just what, you know, people are trying to sell them for. So we see a lot of these are from Japan, selling for anywhere from 40 to looks like 60. Pretty expensive shipping. Okay, this one's got a lens and it's 120. So if I was listing this camera, I would probably give it maybe $80 with some nice photos, and you know, maybe free shipping, maybe just cheaper shipping, because it looks like there's a lot of more expensive options here. One thing I forgot to mention, it is harder to test the light meters kind of on site, because generally the batteries are either dead or there's no battery, or you know, you're not exactly sure how it works. So that is one thing that you want to watch out for, and that'll increase the value of the camera if the light meter still works. And now just looking for the lens. So this is the Canon FD 50mm of 1.8. So people are buying this for anywhere from $30 to $40. Seems like a pretty standard. So these two, if I sold them both, it would probably go for around $120 total. And that's not together, but that's selling them separately, just the total profit. So I bought them for, it was a couple years ago when I bought this camera itself. I think it was around $15. So that would obviously be, you know, like a $100 profit, which is not bad at all. So today I'm actually planning on listing this camera that I bought just a couple weeks ago. It's an old Polaroid and it is fully functioning. I actually bought some film and tested it. It doesn't go for a ton, honestly. I only bought it for $12. So, you know, like it's not gonna be hard to make a profit. But it doesn't go for more than, you know, $40 on eBay, which is not a huge profit, but still. And it was fun to test it and kind of use it for a little bit. I would hold on to it, but Polaroid film is really expensive, and I don't see myself actually really using it a whole lot, because even if I had, you know, all the money in the world to buy Polaroid film, I don't love the process. I would prefer either regular film or just digital. So I think I will part with this one. One bonus is, because I obviously know photography and things like that, I feel like my product photos are pretty good, and it helps people have a little bit more confidence that what they're buying is actually what is listed, you know, like what is said in the description. And I think it just gives a little bit more buyer's confidence. So I always try to make the photos look as nice as I possibly can. So then after taking pictures, I just upload those to eBay, and I, you know, make a listing with as much detail as I can manage that really describes the condition of the item and if it functions or not, and just, you know, some basic stuff to really help people know what it is. And I let it go. I normally don't do auction style. I just do buy it now, because auction style can be like, I don't know. I don't like the uncertainty. I like just having it at a set price. Now this brings me to the camera that I bought recently, that I was gonna sell this, but it's too cool to not try at least a few times. So this is the Nishika N8000. And you think, like, this is kind of a weird looking camera. It's got 4 lenses up front. It's a film camera. And what it does is it essentially takes 3D photos. And back in the day, I don't know exactly how they made them into 3D photos, because there wasn't GIFs, but now with the help of modern technology, you can kind of make these really interesting parallax images, because essentially it takes 4 pictures simultaneously onto the same film strip, just right next to each other. And then when you lay those photos over each other and kind of play them back quickly, it appears to be 3D. So I am so excited to try this. I bought it for, I think they were selling it for $14, I want to say, the local thrift store. And it's going online for like 80 to 100 to even more sometimes. A couple years ago, they were going for like $400, because I think like Kanye West or something like that posted a picture with that was taken on one of these cameras, and that obviously hyped the price up. But it's a cool camera, and I'm really excited to try it, because I've never used anything like this in my entire life. The kind of funny thing is, I've found I almost enjoy this process more than photography itself, which is kind of funny because they're just like tools to make photos. But I am kind of a nerd, and I just like the mechanics of cameras. I like the sounds they make, and I like just like the operation and everything. And I'm a big fan of like gear, like buying gear. And I think there's just something so cool about the fact that like a camera can take a moment, like a single moment, and crystallize that and make it into art, I guess, like into something that could be viewed as beautiful or what, you know, whatever it may be, or impactful. I just think that's a really cool thing, and like just these little like metal boxes can do that. Like, that's pretty cool. Well, thank you for watching this video. It's definitely been a little bit more photography centric than a lot of my videos have been in the past. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see y'all next time. Adios, amigos.